You know, it's the role of elected governments to do the best they can for their people.
Sometimes they just can't help themselves.
Hi, and welcome back to the channel. In case you haven't heard, you probably haven't, the National Association of Realtors and the federal government have been sort of in a battle about the way real estate is run in the country. And recently, the Department of Justice came out with this grand idea of decoupling seller and buyer commissions. Now, little background. It's been the custom, although it's not required, that sellers offer the buyer broker commission during the sale. Now, why did this happen? Why did this become more of a custom? Because most sellers are going to make quite a bit of money on their sale. Meanwhile, the buyers have to pay their down payment, they pay their closing costs, have to make sure that they're qualified for the mortgage to begin with. And so when a seller offers the buyer broker commission, they're making it easier for buyers to come see their house because then the buyer doesn't have to cover it. Normally, you'd think, hey, the buyer should cover their own commission. Doesn't that seem fair? Isn't that the way it's supposed to be? But sellers who really want to attract the most amount of people to see their home have, over time, added the buyer broker commission into their offer, into their sales price, into the listing. Now, you as a seller could offer zero commission to the buyer broker.
What language? What you talking about?
What's that mean? That means the buyer would then have to pay the professional fee or the commission for their agent. So if you're a buyer, put yourself in their shoes, you have to come with all that money at closing. The down payment, you have to be qualified, you have to pay your closing costs, which could be several $1,000s. Now you're going to have to pay a commission as well. So it just became a custom where sellers made it easier for buyers to buy their home and attract them away from other homes. But again, all commissions are negotiable. If you're a seller, again, you could offer zero commission. When that happens, the agent for the buyers have what's called a buyer broker agreement. They say, okay, buyer, this is our agreement. You promise to pay X amount at closing unless it's covered by the seller already. Then you don't end up paying anything, or you'll pay a portion of it. So now the DOJ has come out and said they want to uncouple those, which means, and they're even talking about taking away the freedom for sellers to offer that buyer broker commission. Imagine that. The Department of Justice banning you from enticing people to buy your property. So then, should they ban car salesmen from giving discounts on a car? Should they ban Walmart from having sales in order to entice people into their stores? Doesn't make a lot of sense, and who does that harm the most?
Imagine this, a world where first-time home buyers are navigating the complex labyrinth of the real estate market solo. The Department of Justice is mulling over a significant change, adjusting how real estate agents and brokers receive their payments. But here's a warning bell. Experts caution that this could put first-time buyers at a disadvantage. It may appear to be a just plan at first glance, but in reality, it could setting the stage for a perfect storm for first-time home buyers. Quad sellers often cover the cost of both their own and the buyer's broker fees. This arrangement tends to favor first-time home buyers, easing their financial burden. The Department of Justice, however, proposes a shift, allowing buyers to negotiate their own fees. With the proposed changes, first-time buyers may face increased costs and limited access to representation.
So we know first-time home buyers will be impacted the most by this because they're going to have to come up with a bigger pile of cash when they buy a home. But also, think about this. If you're a seller, that same buyer this year who could have afforded your house will not be able to afford it once this policy, if it does, goes into place. So now you as a seller have to lower the price on your house in order to attract a bigger pool of buyers. The lower the price on the house, the bigger the pyramid at the bottom. So lowest price houses get the most eyes. That's from investors, that's from buyers, whoever, someone who wants to live in the house. And as you move up the scale to millions and millions of dollars for a home, very few buyers at the top there. So if you're in the middle somewhere, now you have to consider, if I'm prohibited from offering that incentive, that commission for buyers to come look at my house, will I have to lower it into the next lower tier to attract that set of buyers that are in that lower tier? It could be. In long term, this could be the plan for the Department of Justice. They may be using this to try to lower home prices overall, although I'm not sure it'll work. We still have a supply issue. We still have to build more homes. We don't have enough for the people out there. So will it work? Stay tuned. Let's watch this play out and let's see what happens.